guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for Wednesday the 9th. And so I have really beautiful energy to talk about. Okay, yes, I have a quincunx issue going on, but we'll get to that. But I really love this week. Like, there's something special and significantly changing, and the buzz is just getting better. Like, I feel it. Like, I think everything is leading up to this solar eclipse, new beginning, and it feels really delicious. Like, I feel like there's some really good energy to be had because there's so much buildup right before we get to that new moon. So let's take a look at today's reading and see how we're feeling this energy start to build. So we have the moon in Leo and Venus in Leo within 2 degrees of each other conjunct, which means to me that these two are working together. So this has to do, hi baby, hi honey, sorry, has me paid attention to you not been included. So this is how you emotionally feel about things. Now understand that Leo energy is a little bit ego oriented. So this really has to do with how you feel. Like, it is your barometer. And if it goes bad, it can be quite dramatic, meaning this moon will hold you accountable emotionally. This isn't a moon where it's just like, I'm all butt hurt, so I'm going to crawl on a shell like a Cancer moon is. No, this is a moon that makes people accountable for their not being attentive to who they love, or it can be a letdown as far as a creative endeavor or something that has to do with your pride. So, in a negative vibration. So the reason I say that it has a letdown and something to do with your pride is because it's quincunxing Pluto and Capricorn. So to me, this suggests that there are just so many opportunities. It can be quite hard to have the emotional confidence at this point if you're in a quincunx, which means a lower vibration of energy. There is progression to be had and progression to be made. However, there's fear associated with this, because anytime that you have Pluto in a quincunx or in a lower vibration of that, oops, misfire. Come on, baby. Come on, he jumped and misfired. I love when he misfires. It's so funny. But it lowers the vibration of this Plutonian energy, which means fear starts to creep into the picture. And it sets forth a cascade of events as far as in some dramatic behavior. So for some of you today, this can be quite the dramatic day. This has to do with, it's almost like there's a depth to an idea and you're not wanting to let go of the grasp of it. There is new opportunity to be had. It is something that could set up a strong foundation, and it is actually, it can set up a new opportunity in personal growth, but you want to hold somebody accountable for where you are at right now. This is ego-based. So this is, I've worked this hard to get here, and there should be more recognition for it, but there isn't. There was a loss, and it's almost like you're crying over spilled milk at this point, and you just can't see the opportunity on the horizon. This has something to do with your pride. What happened to you was very ego-based. So Uranus and Aries is going to be quincunxing the Sun in Virgo. So this has something to do with the fact you lost something, and I want to say that this is due to a bias. This is due to a poor coping method, and you're angry about it. You're angry that you allowed so many things to stand in the way of what you want, and you almost want to rebel against it like a little child. Like, you almost want to stand up and blame everybody else for where you're at right now. And You know, that's the lower vibration of all of this Aries energy, is that it can, it can be all about you and where you are at emotionally at this point, and how you feel like your light's kind of burnt out because this person did this to you. I want to say that this has a lot to do. I feel this is highly a psychological process. This has to do with something called projection. And projection is something that you do to justify where you're at. So you create a mess, right? You create something, you create a problem, and then you project it onto somebody else and hold them accountable for what you caused in your own life. All of us are here at our point in our life for a reason. It is nobody's fault, right? Even if some narcissistic person came into your life and trashed your life, yes, you can hold them accountable and you can blame them, but you chose them, right? That stemmed from something that happened in your past, and it is something that it's something that you have to overcome. And the way that you sought pleasure is your own issue. That's the demon that you had to take care of. So I think you are well aware of where it all stems from, but there's this need to want to project your issues onto other people. And the challenge in that is the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse that's coming up. It is really going to hold you accountable for that type of behavior. So I want to discourage you from not owning where you are. Don't do it, because the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse is going to be a dramatic change in those areas. And look, the one thing that I've learned after all the years of observation over the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse is that you don't want it to eclipse out change for you. It is a powerful energy. It is dramatic, and it is often very life-altering, whether you want it to be or not. It is. I don't think it's a power that we have a whole lot of control over. How we deal with the power, how we let it empower us, what we take from these dramatic changes, that's a whole other issue. But, and I told you guys all know that I believe in God, but whoever you hold as your spiritual guide is shaking up your life to associate enough pain or realization, or associate enough negative energy with it to want to change. So even a new beginning can come with enough pain to make you want to change it, right? To make it a new beginning, a new start, a fresh start in that area. You are turning your life around. It's a pivotal moment. It's a fork in the road. So this, to me, suggests that we're going to want to justify our behavior by trining out all of these energies. So we're going to take our ego and we're going to trine it out. We're going to make ourselves feel better about the situation, more better than we should at this point. So we have our moon, Venus, and Mars all working together. They're all conjunct. They're all working side by side with our ego. So we are allowing ourselves to be pride-based. We're projecting our issues onto other people's, and we're walking around this planet with a narcissistic outlook. And you know, I want to say that narcissist is a classification. It's a classification of certain behaviors that if this person does a lot, then they are classified into this particular category, right? So for me, that suggests that you are associating a lot of pride with yourself. You're getting your ego back, and you want some justice for where you are at this present moment, and you want to change your outcome. You want to innovate your life. You want to make it better than it is, and you know that takes time. And you know, there's a certain amount of chaos that goes with that when your ego takes a blow. So this has to do with you blaming, you know, the lower vibration of Aries energy, which and Plutonian energy is fear. and is a childlike stance on it. It's almost like a tantrum type behavior when you don't get what you want. And, you know, you've got to own the fact, and I think many of you are, that you did a lot of things wrong, but you're sick and tired of people holding you accountable for your past. And it makes you, and it pulls you back to your past, and then it makes you reflect too much on your past. And you're trying to move forward. You're trying to move past pain. And it just seems like everybody's pulling you back. I do think that means that there's more to revisit. There's more to intellectually decipher. There's more data that you need to collect and take a look at from valid sources. So I think so let's concentrate on the sextile today, because we have a lot of energy quincunxing us and squaring us and pulling at us in our ego. So I'm going to give you a focus, and that is this beautiful moon in Leo, and Venus in Leo is going to give you enough pride and charisma and strength to take a look at this intellectually, right? Like if shit starts to go down in your life and it gets overwhelming and it takes away some of your personal power, and you start to want to project your issues onto other people, take a look at it from a Libran point of view and get a balanced perspective of it. Own the fact that you did something wrong and that people aren't forgiving you, or that people aren't allowing you to express yourself in the right way, or people aren't giving you the benefit of the doubt. And you have so much to give, but there's so much accountability, and you want to grow and you want to flourish, but people are holding you accountable for your past, and that's okay, because we need enough pain associated to make a change, right? So for me, this has to do with a mental journey. And I think that if you go on this mental journey, if you embark on it, if you take on this responsibility, and you come up with some creative new perspectives on where you're at and how you got here, I think at that point, the tangible things that start to come into your life, it balances it all out. So, you know, a lot of times the universe, spirit, God, whomever you hold dear as a holy being in your life, something bigger than you are, doesn't allow you to get ahead monetarily, because it wants you to focus on your psychological processes and routines. And we all know that, you know, Virgo is in your sun and it's in Jupiter, so it's expanding some of these areas. So it can't be all about monetary gains, right? It's all, at some point it's got to be on your psychological process, and then at some point it can't be on your psychological process. It has to be on some monetary gains, and there's a balance in that. See, that balance that I'm talking about today is just a very reflective day. It's a day of stop projecting and own the fact that you even do projection, that you blame others for what you do. The energetic buzz today that I want you to do is I want you to find personal power in the midst of struggle, in the midst of having your pride questioned, especially internally, especially by you. So accept the fact that you make mistakes. Accept the fact that some of those mistakes that you made cost you very dear things to yourself, and you and hold yourself accountable, but don't beat yourself up for it. Look, life is about making mistakes, and it's about making gains, right? It's about losing and it's about winning, right? We have to have these dichotomies to know where to meet in the middle and how we can build strong, firm foundations based on a steady platform, right? So I don't want you guys to get hung up on days like this, but you need to learn from them. They need to humble you. They need to take your pride down a notch. We've got a lot of power right now with Venus and Mars conjunct doing their ballet. So I think this is the universe's way of humbling you down and not making you so ego-oriented and and making you look at everything from a very balanced perspective, because once you get ego-oriented, you get kind of full of yourself, you get cocky, and you feel like you've defeated everything, and that's about when the universe goes in and swaps you on your ass and gives you a little lesson in life. So today's just your lesson. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.